to license it.
Meep, meep.
Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to Maple Leaf Matchbox Makeovers. I'm Andrew, and on the bench today is a 1:64 scale Hot Wheels Volvo 850 estate wagon. This build is my entry in the Diecast Mafia invitational for this month. The theme is simply station wagons. Believe it or not, this is the only one I've got in my entire collection. And I really like this BTCC livery, and to tell you the truth, I'd rather start with something plain and turn it into this as the final result. But you gotta play with the hand you get dealt, right? Here's the poster for this month's build, and I'm going to put a link in the description so you can find all the others. And it's a very busy month of January and into February for me, with all of these already on my calendar. So I want you to come back often and check for new content. If you're enjoying this type of video, and this one in particular, give it a thumbs up, won't you? And consider becoming a new subscriber to my channel. There's no cost. Just click the subscription button in the bottom right corner of your screen, and be sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my regular new uploads. And I invite you to leave your respectful comments below as well. Tell me what you like, tell me what you think I may have missed, and I'd sure love to know where you're watching this video from. I'm in Switzerland. You really ought to put that on your bucket list of places to go, because it sure is beautiful. This job is essentially going to be a strip down and a repainting and a wheel swap, with a few details like the headlights and taillights freshened up. It's in and out of the garage fairly quickly, I think, with this one. It's a plastic base on the bottom of this Hot Wheels car. And those are not bad wheels, but I think I have something that's going to match the original a little bit better. There's only one post to be drilled out in this car. The back clips together in the area where the license plate would be, and I do a test fit of a 256 screw. Now I'm going to leave that in during the paint stripping and the repainting and the clear coating, so nothing gets into the threads of that. It's now been 27 years since Volvo marked its return to the racetrack, when two liveried Volvo 850 estate cars rolled up to the start line on the Thruxton track in southern England. It was the start of the season of the most prestigious standard car series, the British Touring Car Championship, BTCC. And the venture would lead to many successful years in the BTCC, including an overall victory in 1998. Good for Volvo. Their decision to compete with two estate cars was made several months before the start of the 1994 race, but was kept secret until the last moment. When the news was released, many thought it was a joke. A couple of station wagons? A large estate is not an ideal track car, with a lot of weight behind the rear axle and a higher center of gravity. It's harder to get around the corners than a saloon, but the aerodynamics of the estate were slightly better than the saloon. At least that was the theory. The deciding factor, however, was that the estate would attract more attention. I've switched from a wire brush on the Dremel tool to this Scotch-Brite pad, which I really favor as one of the final applications, and some steel wool to give the bare metal a nice luster and super good finish before it goes into the next stage, which is going to be the paint booth. behind the wheel of one of the two cars was 26-year-old Rickard Rydell, who, despite his tender age, had a great deal of experience from karting, Formula 3000, and Formula 3. In the other car was his teammate Jan Lammers, a 37-year-old Dutchman who had competed in various classes, including Formula 1. We hadn't had time to test the car on the track before its launch at Thruxton on April 4th, says Rydell. Jan Lammers and I had been able to drive a few hundred meters at the entrance to TWR's development workshop, but that was all. Can you believe it? I'm using a metallic blue on the estate simply because this matches exactly a real-life car of someone that I know, and I've had lots of time behind that wheel, so this is another trip down memory lane for me. And one of the reasons I got into the hobby is the nostalgia angle. It seems almost every one of these cars on my hobby bench brings back a memory of some kind, either because it was a toy that I had when I was a child, or it's a real car that I owned, or a neighbor's car, or a friend's that I've been able to drive and I'm familiar with. Because it was a BTCC car to begin with, this Hot Wheels has, I think, a fire extinguisher behind the back bench and the spare tire. And I'm touching those up, although you're not really going to see them clearly. I'll know the details are done. Here I'm using a very narrow burr tool, and I'm removing the 3D plastic molded exhaust tip so that I can replace it with a metal ferrule, which I apply with a little bit of super glue on the end of a toothpick. You saw me cut down the ferrule to size, and I'm just going to let that sit, and it'll be hard as cement in a couple of moments. And with a drop of paint, I'm going to go around the rectangular muffler that's also in 3D relief on the bottom of the base. So I've already made it slightly more realistic with that little detail. Cool. Also, in order to achieve a realistic effect, I paint the taillights and the headlights and the side indicators in chrome or silver, whatever's on hand, and then I'll go over those with some clear paint, and it looks a little bit better than using opaque red or orange or white. Lately I've been scratching off the paint with a X-Acto knife, and today I'm painting it on with my fine detail brush. Here I'm painting the wheel wells from underneath in black, and that's simply so that when the model is all finished and reassembled and you can see up under the wheels into the wheel well, you don't see a white plastic interior or even the tan leather that I painted. You'll just see black. That was my wheel swap, which if you check the reference photos that I've included in this video, it's a 5-spoke, which seems to be the standard issue that Volvo put out. The windshield was nearly pristine, and I simply had to clean that and give it a dip into the Pledge Revive It, which I didn't include in this video, just to keep it a little bit shorter. It clips in at the back, and I get a little click sound when I press the front bonnet and the base together, which is always satisfying, and the pre-fit screw goes back in ideally, as I knew it would. Number 76 is done. Let's have a closer look. There were 3 pieces, as you recall, and the middle interior I painted with a chrome edging around it, which I think gives a striking contrast to the dark blue metallic. The new wheels seem authentic, and it still scoots pretty good. Here's the BTCC livery that I started with. I really do like that. And it was in pretty good condition. But I want to honor my good friends in the Diecast Mafia by participating in this month's invitational. And this is my rendition of the Volvo 850 Estate wagon. A little more suburban proof now than ready for the racetrack, but I'm pleased with how it turned out. Check in the description below for a Diecast Mafia link and watch the other builders. They have excellent channels that you will enjoy. This one goes into a blister pack and off to the Goodwill store as a gift. Give this video a thumbs up, won't you? And come on back real soon. It's coffee time.